And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Alex G. And with me this evening, we have our good friend, Matt Riley, and the lovable and scrumptious Scott Franklin. What's going on tonight, guys?
It's too late.
Oh, everything. This is going to be a fun show.
This is going to be a fun show. And Matt, I think we're going to start off with our correspondence to good old JB. So you may want to pull that up. Oh, by the way, these guys, it will be what cycle is this? Holiday cycle? The Holiday Cycle TT Trash Talk recap show. We did our results show last week, so welcome and salutations to everyone that is here this evening on a very, very cold.
Man, you are breaking up. Is it me or you?
I don't know. Am I breaking up?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, it must be you jerk.
I feel like every other word I'm listening to you. I hear Scott fine.
Guys in the chat, can you tell me if am I clear? Can you hear me? Do I sound good?
Clear. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Papa, can you hear me?
Demonetized already. Thanks. Appreciate that. So like I was saying, it's a very cold 18 degrees here in New York today. It's cold as all get out, so that's nice. 13 degrees, wind chill's 5 degrees. Leon, that is very cold. And yes, I am loud and I am clear, according to Darren. So we're good to go. All right, guys. So don't forget.
You are clear.
Shut up. All right, guys. So make sure I get the plugs out of the way early on this episode. Make sure you use our Amazon affiliate link. You'll see the link over here on your right side, or my left, or your right. Super chats are live, guys, so don't be cowards and make sure you use the super chat functions. It's there for a reason.
Super chat.
So let's get started. So Matt, what do you got from JB this cycle?
Oh, you'll go right to the JB stuff. Okay, that's fine. Well, first things first.
We're gonna stick it in with no lube.
That's right. Just going right to business. I asked him for a calendar for this year.
Oh, so I thought it was one of those erotic calendars, which would have been awesome.
Exactly what it is. No, he sent me a lowdown, and just January, February, March, spring, April, May, June, summer, July, August, dog days, September, fall, October, November, December, and holiday. So a good year, fun events.
I do feel that they should rename the May cycle to the Luther Alexander Appreciation Month cycle. So
people do it.
Get on.
Might do it.
Get on that.
That's a 17 cycle year, in case you're curious. So 17 rounds of play in 22. I want to send a special welcome on our show tonight to Angela, who's listening.
Angela.
She's all the way from way down in Delaware. I'm sorry about Delaware. Anyways, it was cold here too as well. It was about I think like 8 degrees with a wind chill, but it's fine now. It's a nice balmy 27 degrees. So Johnny B's latest of questions. Let me have a little bubbly here, a little water. All right, so. Matt was wondering if we use a wholesaler for our practice. If they're manufactured by some poor basement dweller with permanent aching hands, or if they're sold by a cigar-smoking cartoon character who lives down the street from headquarters. Johnny B. We are fortunate to have an excellent trophy company in the area, though not right down the street, and always relied upon them for all our awards other than belts. It's owned and operated by a very nice family who enjoyed seeing their work on display in manager Dave Callum's recent interview in The Hollywood Reporter. In addition to being the best local spot for plaques and trophies, it is also a popular summer destination for Willowick residents. Just remember, guys, Willowick, I think it's right on the water there. As they carried frozen treats to help offset the seasonal loss of sales to school sports teams. I was the IWA's designated Prize Fulfillment Coordinator, or PFC, for many years and would receive a free menu item with each visit in the summer. The company has since moved to a new location in the city, but the ice cream shop remains and still bears their initials despite having new owners. So that's first one. We call it Wonder because, there's so many, like right now, I think it was Tommy Christopher just retired like 10 guys or something like that. So it's like, wow, there's 10 plaques. And I'm very happy to tell you I have 3 plaques. Victor Von Schnapp, Mad Dog Dick Jackson, of course, Bad Company. So, all right. So there's fun there. Oh, so do you check our strats and pick a different strat ending just to mess with us? So this was the controversial question, because there's often this conspiracy theory that the IWA will say, well, we saw what you guys picked, and here's what we're going to run instead, just to mess with you. So, Johnny B. All 6 sets of hold values are in place before we enter a single strategy, which is why we had to outlaw inter-federation matches for so long. Some players found a way to use them to gain an unfair advantage in the later federations. Additional proof is the small number of times hold values were accidentally published early, which was a motivating factor in our recent switch to a fully digital system. It's not uncommon for us to receive last-minute strategy changes, and we post the first completed bulletin from each federation as quickly as possible, i.e. without entering all the strategies from the remaining leagues. So there would be insufficient time for us to manipulate results, even if we wanted to for some reason. Furthermore, we have so many managers and so many wrestlers in the game that attempting to determine how any particular player chooses their holds would not only be unethical, but would consume an extraordinary amount of time and effort just to risk going out of business. I'm sure it can occasionally feel as if we're targeting you personally, but that's never the case unless your name's Alex. Oh,
True.
What the? No. And if you think about it, you may realize you're giving us far too much credit. We had no idea which holds you, Alex, or anyone else would choose. Matt's frustrating experiences with the lottery in his youth and the Gold Federation holds this cycle did not occur because the Mass State Lottery Commission hates him or because IWA hates him. They happen because the universe hates him. That's true. And I will say a quick aside. I in the NWO locker room earlier, Mike Durham brought up the point about, is there a way to really hit a 501 perfectly, a perfect score, if you don't flood? And I said, you have a much harder time. I did it once, ever, with Santa Lucha in 2014. And the reason it was a big win to me was not only that I only ran about, I think, 7 singles wrestler strategies at that time, so it was still a big win. It was also big because it had been so long. But also, the bonus is, when it was 1988, and I got a bulletin in the mail. This is back when paper bulletins came in, so you'd wait for the mail. And the top of the Power Packed League bulletin said, Magnum DJ defeats Shake Your Booty for the World Championship. I managed Magnum DJ. Sort of. The player, Dave Barton, ran Magnum DJ, and he left the game, and he let me run Magnum DJ while he was gone. This used to be a thing you could do in the game years ago. And I was like, great. I liked Magnum DJ. He was essentially Magnum TA. And I had the Von Schnapps in there. And I get this bulletin, and I remember I was so happy. I went to see my friend Mark at Burger King, who also played. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like shaking this. And I was so thrilled. I was so like, oh my God, I couldn't believe I won the World Championship. And then I got a phone call. And it was from Dave, and he told me that, he had taken Magnum DJ, he was back, and he took him over again, and that actually it was his world title. So, despite this crushing moment, I still played the game and was determined even more to win the championship, even though it took me 27 years to do it. But if you get there, you'll always have that memory. So, good luck to everybody this cycle, kind of. All right, so let's see here. My friend Angela's going to be like, what the hell is this game about?
Oh, sure.
If she's still, she's passed out. This is horrible. What am I listening to? Shake Your Booty equals Sly Smith now. Shake Your Booty was a group of wrestlers run by Frank Morano, who was the Morano Memorial Tag Team Tournament. And Frank ran Shake Your Booty. He ran the Phantom Striker. He ran the Syrian Assassin. He ran Nick, Dick, and Rick, the Danger family. There was like 8 Dangers. And he was one of the, believe it or not, early Flutter's big roster players. And he had Shake Your Booty all over the place in the game. And he was also a great writer. So it was like he was a heel, all that fun stuff. And, I learned a lot from him when it came to playing the game and winning early on. So it was fun. And anyways, yeah, so some players have co-opted those names from the past, and run them now as Sly does. So, all right, next question. I'm really hoping Angela will chime in on our message board here, even to just say hi. She's been working out. She's getting buff for the year, so everyone get ready.
She needs to give me $5 for the super chat. That's what she needs to do.
Hey, that always helps. Let's see here. So, yes, the universe does hate me. Okay. Darren asked, why does the IWA not put advertisements on their website? They would make $1 million every Tuesday and Thursday from site refreshing. Johnny B says, most internet advertising is based on a metric known as the click-through rate, and the ability to click an ad while furiously tapping is completely impossible. There is also the concern that ad companies would require information about the player's demographics, but we want everyone to be able to play this game with as much anonymity as they wish. Our website has never tracked you in any way and has never carried advertising that allowed third parties to track you in any way. Shouldn't that be the norm rather than the exception? We think our players deserve their privacy, even if it means less income for us. That's a good point, but I would say that with as much people doing nowadays, you could still, pretty much get your cheapo budget in there, I guess.
In reality, like I have an AdSense account, right? It's the way I'm monetized through YouTube, right? But AdSense can also be used to create a website, even like a goofy website if you use one of these like website builder programs. And all you gotta do is you basically just write the code and it just pops right in there, and they're just basically like historically just Pornhub ads or brazzers historically, but there's some family friendly ones as well that you can choose. But I appreciate the fact that I've been tracked by the government more often than I like to speak about, so I do appreciate the level of anonymity that the IWA does provide me. So thank you.
Speaking of that, one of the guys at work was talking about something like thing with his motorcycle, and he mentioned some kind of code word, like some slang. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, Google it. I'm like, I'm not Googling that. I'm gonna have an FBI watch list.
You get a VPN and you use incognito, you should be okay.
Angela is very confused right now, which is fine.
It's all right. I'm just talking shit.
So I'm telling you, if you don't chime in, I'm gonna keep talking about you and tell all the guys. Hot friend from Delaware, who's on Match.com. Oh, she gets so mad right now. All right, so next question. I asked, has the IWA ever had a stoppage of work that caused a major delay? Johnny B. As I've answered previously, the early days saw my father hammering out bulletins in his manual typewriter, and they also had to manually determine all the league champions. That must have been a nightmare. All the win-loss records and the rankings. Oh, no wonder he hated us. Every page of every bulletin was produced by that typewriter, and the correspondence took place. Hold on, quick second. Weren't we going to get a picture of that typewriter? Wasn't that a thing?
Yes.
We're still waiting for that picture of the typewriter. We should get it framed and get a place of honor. And correspondence took place entirely by snail mail. During the early 90s, I became the bottleneck as I assumed those duties while he focused on developing additional games. We were woefully unprepared for the sudden influx of players who responded to our ads. So there were routinely mountains of file folders piled up in my office as the other employees did their best work ahead of the other parts of the process. One fateful day, our accountant relayed an analogy of taking a break from the digging with a shovel to build a bulldozer. In other words, make the players wait a bit while I updated our computer system to automate those tasks. And that advice is still paying dividends today, to use an accounting term. We've been on a relentless 3-week schedule since the April 2001 cycle. A relocation to a new office building in the mid-2002 caused a 1-week delay, and we learned from the experience and successfully moved to another location a few years ago without any interruption in service. Matt mentioned power outages in the last episode, and some of you may recall that a loss of electricity by storms forced us to resort to our backup plan in the middle of August last year. We were still able to post Diamond Federation results that afternoon, as I said, relentless. I remember that. And it's pretty impressive. Like, Alex and I have joked about, like cranking out commissioner report. Alex, when did you take over the IWAR report?
It's been, I think, almost 4 years, maybe.
And before that, you were doing NWL, right? So that's what, 6-7 years now.
Yeah. So we started
every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks. It doesn't matter if you're in the hospital. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're recovering from surgery. Doesn't matter if you can't use your right hand.
I know. Was it before or after you fell off the ladder? It was during, right?
It was during the process. So
yeah,
I got hurt in the middle of that.
I've had
my computer blew up like twice.
I think I've had 4 operations in the time we've done this.
Yeah.
So we're a mess. All right. All right. Almost there. Everyone right now should be going on Match.com and looking up the Delaware area just to.
I was on Farmers Only, so.
We're gonna start the IWA players only.
Oh no! It's better than the IWAR After Dark that I pitched before.
It's also called the Pickle Party. All right. In reference to quite possibly the coolest wrestler in our ad, Luke asked, "Who drew that?" Alex said, "I believe Johnny B drew that himself. I heard that somewhere, but it may be false." Matt wondered if we were able to produce envelopes that featured illustrations of the U.S. champion so rapidly. Okay. I addressed the very subject in one of our many trivia questions that never made it out of the Tubecast. Oh, look at that. I'll repeat it here. I could have sworn we covered all the questions. Anyways, a bonus anecdote with the U.S. champion drawings. Question, has IWA ever had an in-house artist? Yes, we did. This is Johnny B speaking. Yes, we did. And the first 2 were students from my high school where the original Johnny B taught Latin and English for 17 years. He also wrote the words to the alma mater. One of them is one of my brothers. Some of his work can be seen on our magazine ad and on our website. He also drew the current logo for the Zigzag League. The other student is responsible for drawing we've been using for the top IWA report issues, logos such as the current emblem of the Sabretooth League, and artwork we use to fill empty bulletin pages. We get those random wrestler images, like the guy with a wrist lock on the other guy.
Which I want on a t-shirt as well.
I know. I want the World's Unlimited logo.
Yeah.
As the game continued to grow, my father decided to hire 2 friends, former teachers from the same school who found themselves in need of steady employment. Luckily, I hadn't been in either of their classes, since they likely would have been a strange dynamic for me. The former math teacher naturally became our accountant, and he unnaturally created logos for several leagues, including the current designs of the Ninja Dojo League. When the original high schooler left for college, he took a local artist for a time. His style leaned even more medieval knights and monsters, but his wrestling pictures were serviceable. In later years, we came to rely on players for artwork, talented managers such as Cody Shibby, and Catfish Rob. Oh, Catfish Rob getting the bump.
Yeah.
When we entered the practice of honoring the U.S. champion with a drawing on our envelopes, we received several letters expressing a similar sentiment. Finally, now I don't have to rush out to the mailbox before my wife gets home, so she doesn't see that envelope. IWA player shame. I know of at least 2 players who were forced to quit by their significant others. For some of it was their roommates or sibling, but it puzzled me that none of them had ever complained about their drawing causing embarrassment. I suppose they didn't want to ruin other players' funds. Our managers are awesome like that. Luke asked, how did they get into the PWI? They just bought the ad. I wrote, how did they get IWA to get into the PWI magazine? So Johnny B is the last question. PWI has been one of the top magazines for fans of wrestling for a long time, and as Luke correctly assumed, our ad finds its way into those hallowed pages the old-fashioned way by money changing hands. I have personally designed nearly every IWA advertisement in our 36-year history, so it's quite a compliment hearing that my work was the only portion of the magazine young Luke felt was worth commandeering. But with so many publications closing shop since the dawn of the internet, PWI's continued existence speaks to its quality as well as prestige it still holds in the minds of those interested in the sport. Long may it reign. And it brings up a good point. I proposed an idea about I think it was 2014 when I proposed this idea. And I offered to design a postcard that the IWA could then mail out to former players. And they would take that postcard and would have an offer like, the first 6 months half off. Come back and get half price IWA activity for half a year, or something like that. It was ridiculously like good rate. And we did something like that where I emailed players and had that offer, and we got some players back. But I always thought that way, I know it's a nostalgia-driven game for a lot of us, for almost all of us, really. But I was just curious, if guys want to give it a go, if we do something like that, would that be something they'd be interested in? We have some really good graphic designers here now in our in-house creative team here. So yeah, that's the Q&A from Johnny B. Angela does not equal Kimberly.
So if you guys have any more questions for Johnny B, please shout them out in the chat, and we'll get those out to him so he can answer this for us. I'm for one curious about how it was growing up in Willowick, and what are some of the memories from Willowick, Ohio, from back in the day. Is there a lake over there? What are some of the hot spots? What are some of the maybe massage parlors that were frequented, perhaps?
Did Johnny B run for office?
Is it a small town? Like, I'm just curious about the town itself. Like, what are some of the fun hot spots? Like, as a youth, in the summertime and such. So I'm more curious about the town of Willowick itself. So maybe we give a couple of interesting stories, maybe some some anecdotes about growing up in Willowick. Is it near Canada? I feel like it's near Canada. Matt, you've been there. Is it near Canada? Matt, did you fall asleep?
No, it's the south. No, it's on the south side of the lake.
Is it on the south side of the lake?
So you have the whole lake to get.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a coastal town. I've Googled it to look up images because I wanted to design a poster for the Willowick Classic. But I have actually been there, Willowick, and I will tell you, I saw a very scary bathroom while I was there. Because my friends were like, oh, well, we're already pulled off the side of the road. Let's just, go to this gas station. So we went in there, and it was like a sip and go, whatever you call it, And then there was a sign across the way that was like, welcome to Willowick. So I posed with my IWA World Championship belt and, took that famous photo.
Yeah, it still gets you heat to this day.
Yes. Yeah. So, anyways, that was the Q&A from Johnny B.
All right. So, like I said, guys, throw your questions up in the chat, and we'll get those out to good old JB. Maybe we get some answers on the next Tubecast. All right.
Yeah.
I dig that. We're going to start off this cycle with the Independent Wrestling League, number 150. We'll get right into the trash talk. Now, guys, there was a little controversy on the last Tubecast regarding how the results were run, so they got rerun. So I think I should go over at least the title page over again.
Sure.
Since that has changed. So your league champion, Barry, taking E. Stevens. Television champion, Joe Boring. New York City champion, Bulk Brogan. Los Angeles champion, Alec Von Schnapp. Boston champion, Alexander J. Styles. Detroit champion, Monkey, the Mongolian Baller. Cleveland champion, Riley Reynolds. Dallas champion, Jean-Paul Tremblay. Memphis champion, Chase Grace. Miami champion, the Christian Warrior. San Francisco champion, Guy Michael Gagon. Chicago champion, the Mugen the Terror. League tag team champions, John Wilkes and the honestly brutal Abe. TV tag team champion, the Christian Warrior and the Chameleon. League six-man champions, Pop Culture Peter Cross, Bob Bonecutter, and Bill Bonecutter. TV six-man champions, Drew Hoax and X3M. And your Battle Royal winner, winning 47 free IWL matches, Jean-Paul Tremblay.
What a bargain.
What a bargain. So, guys, again, we had Starcade this cycle. I read over the results. Some of them, nothing really changed other than the winner of the Bunkhouse Stampede. So the winner of this year's Bunkhouse Stampede is Barry Taking the Stevens. He will get a shot at the IWR World Heavyweight Championship at Soul Survivor. Alexander J. Styles will be defending said championship. In addition to that, we do have a winner of the Holiday Rumble. There was Shotgun James Carnage. So Shotgun James Carnage will be in the Pan Am Championship match with an opponent to be determined via the Young Lions Cup. So we're going to run the Young Lions Cup starting next cycle with the 8 participants, which will be announced next cycle. We'll go right into it. And that's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll get a champion out of that because Styles is going to have to relinquish said championship because no one man can defend both championships. It's literally impossible. Nice to see that my TT finally made it in. They forgot to put my TT in, guys. Nothing of any significance here in terms of my TT. Again, I had a lot of things going on, but I did the greatest hits here instead. Although I do like the fact that we have Prince Tun's past revealed. He likes KFC. I don't blame him. Big fan myself. And we see the debut of Terrible Ted the Wrestling Bear Jr. And he's been at summer camps across the United States terrorizing young girls. So good for you, Terrible Ted Jr. Yes. Or El Hijo de Terrible Ted, I guess you would call him. I don't know. We have a debut here. We have the total package, the U.S. mail. He's finally made his first appearance here in the IWL, and no one cares. Moving on. We have the Von Snops here. Von Snops and the Regulators are deeply, deeply in a feud moving forward. Someone will, in fact, die. So just be on the lookout for that. We have Barry Stevens here. He's looking at guys like Big Money Graham Steenbridge and his ilk, I guess you would call him. Yeah, Barry Stevens is going to have some issues moving forward, I think. I don't know. What do you think, Scott? You think Barry's going to have some issues moving forward? I don't think he's beating Styles right off the bat. That's not going to happen. So
I don't think it's going to be easy for him.
No, not at all. We have a nice ad here for the IWAR
Beat him like
shop.
a government mule.
Make sure you get your IWAR mouse pads, blankets. There was underwear on here, but I think Matt took it off, the Speedos. I was going to get a pair of purple Speedos, but he took those down.
IWAR wigs are selling pretty well.
But here's the thing. The thing about Speedos. When did that stop being a thing? I remember in my youth, Speedos were, a pretty formidable, recognizable, appropriate, piece of swimwear. You go to the beach, in 2022, you're not going to see a lot of Speedos out there. So, Matt, what do you think went wrong in the Speedo market here? Like, what was the downturn here? Like, what happened?
Too much of a reveal.
You think so?
I think people like a little mystery.
A little mystery?
Wow. Like, I think sometimes you want to see some skin, and that's fine. Other times, well, I think also too, it's there's no governor on who's wearing it.
Good point.
Anyone can wear it and just.
I mean, as a child, I could get away with the Speedo. As a grown man, I'm poking some people in the eye, and I know we can't have that. I don't want to block out the sun. It'll be all right, guys. But yeah, I feel like that should come back though in some shape or form. Maybe with maybe we'll do a little hybrid of the bicycle shorts. Maybe. How about that? Little bicycle shorts actions. I wore those in the late '80s a lot, way more than I probably should have. Bicycle shorts. What the fuck? Anyway, moving on. We have a TT from Alexander J. Styles, the champion of champions, the number one man in Revolution Extreme, the number one man in the IWL, and the number one man in the IWAR. At least that's in my opinion. The guys beat the hell out of everybody. So How many times he beat Atari? Every single time he beat Atari. Every single time, right?
Atari beat him
Never.
once. Oh no, twice actually.
By accident.
Once was a regular match, and once was like that triple cage thing. But it was like the whole first match out of the series and all that jazz.
He also beat the living hell out of Bulk Brogan too, which is impressive, knowing that basically Bulk ran away with Wrestler of the Year this year. So not better than Styles, that's for sure. So Styles being our new world champion, and he's the face of the league right now. So congratulations. We have Neo Dragon talking crap about Luther. It's a really messed up picture of Luther there. Thanks a lot for that. Appreciate that, jerk. Unreal. I can't believe I lost that fucking match. Oh, by the way, Luke's not on the show this evening. You probably, and I'm disappointed personally. I like having him on the show, though he's out there preventing possible terrorism, maybe hunting down a cartel. I saw him.
By the way, quick aside, I got him. I'm adding Aaron to our chat. He can do the show.
Oh, he's here? So he's here?
He's about to join us.
I thought he was pooping.
You there, Aaron?
Still pooping.
Maybe you have to invite him, but try to get him in.
Let's see.
Check.
There he is.
Check Polish, French.
I hear you, but you need to turn me off on YouTube because I can hear myself.
Is this thing on?
Hit the mute.
Is this thing on? All right.
Real professional, guys. Real professional. Welcome, Aaron. I know that you're out there doing important things with important people. I appreciate you stopping by.
I have a message from Luke, but I can't say it on the air. So,
Luke is now the official inspiration for a character that will be debuting very soon. So, yes. So we'll get into that later. You'll see. We have the Chameleon here. He's talking about Alexander J. Styles. Now, the Chameleon had won at this Tuesday in Texas and earned a shot at Alexander J. Styles. But fortunately, the Chameleon lost that match. So, there you go.
Here it is.
You see a nice appearance by Antonio Brown, too, also in this TT. So, he's always around. We have the Omega Squadron. The Omega Squadron have defeated and dethroned the Fabulous Three Birds, and now they're the new and reigning and defending unified tag team champions. So, again, pretty stoked about that. We have the Amazing Grace here. They're talking about Big Money and the Dog Pound. They're gonna get beat up. So the Graces are gonna beat up Big Money and the Dog Pound. I think the Graces are gonna put Dog Pound to sleep. How about that? Next up, we have the top story in the IWL, thanks to the Mark. I don't know if the Mark is the guy or the Mark is the name of the column. I think it's the name of the column. Anyway, let's see a picture of Freeburg Wack, but no one really cares about them. We do have an ad here for an Atari on the lower right-hand side that caught my eye. $137 in like 1982, which I think when I did the inflation calculator was roughly $370 in today's money. What's a Braddles? Well, Bradley's. Bradley's is what it's called? What is that? Bradley? Yeah, I can't see that. Looks like Bradley's. I never had one of those up here.
We had Bradley's up here.
Did you? No one cares.
Bradley's and Caldors.
We had Caldors here for sure. No Bradley's though. We had Kids World or some shit like that. That like went out of business.
Child World.
Child World. Yes. That went out of business when I was like 4.
I saw a weird documentary the other night called Class Action Park. I think the place was called Action Park.
I've been to Action Park.
Oh yeah,
It's in New Jersey.
that place is crazy.
It is nuts. People would get stuck. People would get stuck in the tubes.
Yeah, there was one that was like a loop-de-loop,
Yeah.
like water slide, and he wanted you to like go up the loop and come out on the other end, but kids were like getting their teeth stuck on like the top part of the loop,
Yeah.
and like
Like five or six people died every year. They had this Tarzan swing that you would
Right.
run full speed, jump on the Tarzan, and then swing across this fucking like treacherous trench with water in it. You didn't know what kind of animals were in there.
wasn't it near New Jersey?
In New Jersey, correct.
Ah,
So yeah, I've frequented Action Park. They only went there 3 or 4 times. It was either Action Park in the summers, and then if you were really lucky, we went to Great Adventures, which is now a Six Flags. So that was fun. But yeah, I've been to Action Park. We also have Adventureland, which they also made a movie about Adventureland also.
that place pretty sketchy too.
How can I explain Adventureland? Adventureland is like
Sucks.
it's like if they did an amusement park in a parking lot. Not like a carnival, but like a full-fledged amusement park, but they did it like in a random parking lot with an abandoned building in the back. But they also made a movie of that one as well. So fun times. It's fun growing up on Long Island, I guess.
Yes.
Next up, we have TT from Free Quebec. Now, Free Quebec, I think they're going to be excellent challengers to the Mid-Atlantic Wrecking Crew for those Battery Championships. So what they're looking at the Advanced Ops, and they're looking at Dog Pound. Not saying anything about Revolution Extreme, that's for damn sure. Those guys are smart. Good for them. We have 3XM, Hoax, and Droll here. I think X3M should be on the lookout. She might get a message from one Johnny Revolution very, very soon. We have the industry here with Rod Camino, Waz, and Dave. The decision. Again, I think we're trying to angle it towards a Tiamat Riley Reynolds feud down the road. Just like they're the only women other than X3M right now in the league. So we're trying to get them grouped up, ready to go, and some sort of battle of the century, maybe, perhaps. We have the Demolition Crew. They're talking crap about the White Claw Outlaws. So that's fun. They are actually the new #1 contenders for the Unified Tag Team Championship. So, like to see what Demolition Crew does in a big spot, though. That's going to be real interesting. Ravishing Rex Chambers, he's talking about Ali Atari. Big Money in the Dog Pound, talking about Barry Stevens and Amazing Graces. We have the Backstabber. Unfortunately, we have no poetry from the Backstabber. So there's no reason to even review this because he did not do poetry. I want more poems from the Backstabber. We have hot young rookies, Spider Williams, doing Spider Williams type things. He's talking about his being in the Smokehouse Stampede and how much of an honor for him to be in such large scale events. We have TT here from Catfish Rob, which I think we have TT here from Catfish Rob. I think that belongs in the BRL though, not in the IWL. Matt, what do you think? Is that BRL TT there? Some good old Catfish.
It is.
Did that actually make it into the BRL though? Also?
You did.
Okay, so just a duplicate?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have the WOH here. He's talking about the Chameleon, and he wants to challenge Joe Boring. They're talking about their pay-per-view match against the Mid-Atlantic Wrecking Crew. What is this? I missed this before. There's some sort of grease, perhaps, kind of thing going on here. I gotta read this. Looks like Thugs for Hire, Roddy Order, DR Mine, and Bravo Brand. They're in from the BRL. Is that correct? I must have missed this when I was looking at it before. I'm curious about this, though. I'm going to look into this, and it should be a lot of fun.
Well, you don't get very many dance numbers in the IWA, so.
Well, I think the most of we've seen are in the IWL, so I think that's the perfect spot. We have the Firebird talking about Logan Kane. Still missing, by the way, Logan Kane. We are trying to get a bunch of people. I think Don King is getting a bunch of a crew together to locate the whereabouts of Logan Kane. We have Matthew Grabowski, who is claiming that Dixon Ticonderoga is ducking him. I don't think that's the case. We have the former Atticus, now Anakin Black, talking about his stuff and talking about the DOD and such. I think at this point, he definitely needs to start going after some IWL guys. Maybe the Chameleon. I don't know. American Patriot.
I think the first step might be changing his name back to Atticus.
Do you not like the Anakin Black?
Well, I mean, Atticus just has a certain kind of ring to it, and I think that would spell immediate push for him. But the Anakin thing was, I think he's going to take a step back by making that name change.
I agree.
It's a hot take, I know.
Sizzling. All right, guys. So that's what I have for the IWL. Good job this cycle, guys. Matt, is it true that the IWL had more matches than the BRL? Is that correct?
It did.
Unbelievable.
Even more so when they included my matches.
126 cards. That's really good. So I'm very excited to once again possibly being in the top 3, maybe top 2 this time.
Top 2 for sure.
Yeah, number 1 is NWL, but they don't really count. Okay, so all right, man. I dig that. Next up, the national. What was it? New Wave League? Is it the New Wave League now?
It's the National New Wave League.
It's the National New Wave League now. God bless.
Yes.
It was the National League when I ran it. How about that? Sons of bitches. Who came up with the New Wave League? Ugh, it's gross. Anyway, so Aaron, what do you got for us for the NWL number 177?
Well, as usual, I mean, we've got a lot of great TT here. We've kind of the past few months, I've kind of been talking about a bit of an exodus that we've been having from the NWL. Stables like Gene Co., the Syndicate, and Whoop Ass Inc. are all kind of moving on to their draft leagues now. But this cycle in particular, it seems like we had some good TTs from some of the newer guys who I think are going to round out the class of 2022. So we start off with Dark Danger making his debut. He was in the IWA previously, but he had to go take care of other matters, and now he's back in the IWA. He's starting with the NWL, and he's issuing an open challenge after having some success at Imagimania. So I'm excited to see where Dark Danger goes. First cycle, it's always kind of hard to tell if guys are going to stick around. So, we've got a few who've TT'd for a good couple of cycles now, and I really hope they stick it out. Matt has done a great job in the past of kind of, trying to engage everyone and setting up the league in a way where it's fun and keeps guys going. So hopefully we'll keep that going for 2022. Up next, we have the Teamster and his son, El Hijo de Teamster. There's some sort of power dynamic here. I'm not quite sure what it's about, but, I personally feel like El Hijo de Teamster is a star in the making. But for some reason, the Teamster just won't let him have much of the spotlight. So I'm curious to see how that's going to shake down. They're basically calling out the bums of the NWL. They want to get someone to team up with El Hijo de Teamster to try and win the NWL tag team titles. And if a wrestler teams up with El Hijo de Teamster and they win the titles, right now they could possibly win 13 free matches right off the bat, just like that. And now that Samoan Death Grip is out of the way, it might be a little bit easier, but we've got new tag team champions in Death Row who seem like they're going to be quite formidable coming up. So all you NWL bums out there, come on, let's give El Hijo a little bit of a spotlight here. You get 13 free matches, and then however many matches are signed with El Hijo to Teamster. If they don't win the titles, the matches go up by that number of matches. So, let's give El Hijo a bit of the spotlight. Let's try and win some free matches. Let's win the tag titles, and let's show us what we got out here.
Win one for the Teamster.
What's that?
Win one for the Teamster.
That's right. He's a class act. So, I mean, if anyone deserves a win in his name, it's the Teamster.
All right.
Up next, we've got Big Money Bonnie Banks, who's had a lot of success in the NWL. I think 2-time Rookie Brawl winner now. And also the new Lioness Champion, which is the new women's title in the NWL. She's had an ongoing feud with Area Gunpowder of the Gun Collection. She ends up jumping her in catering, which, let me tell you, the catering area in the NWL is just the last place you want to be, because someone's always getting their ass kicked in the catering area.
It's true. It's true.
You're just trying to grab a turkey sandwich. Next thing you know, you're getting power bombed. It's just mayhem. Then up next, we've got Lone Star Redneck. Another guy, he's going to be on his way out of the NWL fairly soon, I believe. He might actually have a few more cycles, but he's gunning for the Young Lions Championship. He's adding to his stable, the Lone Star Redneck Club. And then, we're just going to have to see, if Lone Star Redneck can finish his NWL tenure on a strong note. Then we have the Death Row tag team, who had a pretty big cycle. They won the NWL tag team titles as well as the NWL Young Lions tag team titles. In what was a bit of an upset, they defeated the Industry for those titles. So they're coming out strong in the NWL, a good TT. They end up jumping a tag team called the Ranger Division. Speaking of which, we had the Dark Stranger from the Ranger Division. They're welcoming Frosty McFreeze, Equalizer, and Mike Hammer to their stable. And then we've got Glenn Cavendish, who's kind of like a Blackjack Mulligan type of character. He's just been causing havoc in the NWL, giving everyone the Golden Claw, Death Claw finisher, just causing chaos everywhere. Then we've got Honor Revolt up next. They're standing in the ring waiting for the Ranger Division, but the Ranger Division has been attacked backstage by Death Row. So then Honor Revolt is accusing new commissioner Johnny B of not having his act together and just letting these teams run rampant.
Sloppy shop.
So, I mean, it's maybe a bit of a bumpy start for the new commissioner, Johnny B. When we have, a team that's genuinely face, I mean, these guys are getting irritated that their opponents are getting jumped backstage. So Johnny B might have to tighten up the screws a little bit in that regard.
Nice.
Up next, we've got Colonel Doom. He lost the Willowick Classic. He was distracted by Area Gunpowder, who they've kind of been on again, off again in the NWL. She was in the front row. She caused a distraction. Mike Dynasty ends up using a tire iron while the referee's distracted to win the match. And, Colonel Doom's just always in the midst of confrontation with various wrestlers. So we'll have to see how that shakes down. Then we've got Mark Justice. Mark Justice has kind of been teaming up with the Grady's lately. They had their barn burned down. At first I thought it was Stevie Vertigo who burned down the barn. Then it turns out it might have been Mike Dynasty who was behind it, but I don't think we're quite sure. I don't think we're quite to the bottom of that yet. But I mean, the Grady Ranch has been around since I think the late 1800s. It almost got burned down. Mark Justice is helping them rebuild it, which is kind of cool. I think he's slipping in a couple of whiskeys with old Aunt Betsy as well, who's quite a heavy drinker.
Nice.
I'm a little bit concerned about Aunt Betsy at times. You know, she likes her whiskey, but I mean, she's in her 80s, so she must be doing something right. She's constantly hitting on Dapper Dan D as well, which makes me mildly uncomfortable. But I mean, I guess that's just what happens. You know, he's called Dapper for a reason.
He's not allowed 100 feet within any elementary school. So
Yeah.
that's true.
So then we've got three members in the end. Actually, we have 6 members of the NWL now who are part of the SOS faction, which just seems to be spreading like wildfire throughout the IWA. So in this particular TT, we've got Mike Dynasty. He's at a Billy Joel concert, and coincidentally, he's singing the song "We Didn't Start the Fire," possibly alluding to the fact that he's involved with the Grady Ranch fire. I mean, that might be a little bit, you know, hitting the nail over the head a little bit with that one. I think he outed himself by having that particular song playing in the TT, but I mean, it's kind of stoking this feud, which I think could possibly run for a few more cycles as well. So yeah, Mike Dynasty is hanging out at the concert. He's a personal friend of Billy Joel. It's during the song "We Didn't Start the Fire." And Mike Dynasty just lost a chance at winning the Young Lions championship, but I don't think he's done yet. I think he might get a few more licks in on Rhett Grady before this is finished. Speaking of Rhett Grady, he's him and his family, Roe, as well as Mark Justice, are rebuilding their barn on the Grady Ranch. He has a suspicion that it's Mike Dynasty behind it. So I think he's going to be out looking for some revenge on Mike Dynasty coming up. I think the Gradys seem like they're a pretty important member of the Beaver County, Pennsylvania community because they have a lot of community members helping them rebuild the barn. Then we have Rhett's brother, Roe, who he seems to be one of the grumpier Grady's. I think the Grady's, you know, they're usually fairly intoxicated, but they're usually, you know, happy kind of drunks, except for Roe Grady. You know, he gets tracked down by Dapper Dan D. I think he's already had a few, so he's getting a little surly, and he's a little upset that everyone keeps comparing him to Rhett Grady. So he hints at, you know, how things might be changing for Roe Grady. He might be showing some different colors coming up.
Oh.
Then we've got the TIE stable. They've been around for a little while. They want to wage war on the entire NWL. We've got Whoop Ass Inc. Kind of a big challenge has been laid down by Mick Ferrari of Whoop Ass Inc. If Rod Camino can beat Mick Ferrari is going to give him $25,000 of his own money. But if Mick Ferrari beats Rod Camino has to wear Whoop Ass Inc. merchandise and cut a promo wearing a Whoop Ass Inc. t-shirt. So I kind of thought that was a cool approach to the TT. I've been enjoying, I think you guys mentioned in a previous Tubecast the idea of putting iCash on the line, which I've tried that a couple times, and it kind of adds like a new layer to like a feud or something. And then Mick Ferrari takes it even a step further and throws in you know, a bit of humiliation towards his adversary by making him potentially wear a Whoop Ass Inc. shirt during their next promo, which I thought was kind of cool. Another member of Whoop Ass Inc., Veruca Salt, who I believe is the newly crowned IWAR Women's Champion.
Correct.
So that continues Veruca's, you know, a bit of a winning streak, a bit of a hot streak. She's making some waves in the IWAR network. Let's see. Then we've got Rod Camino. He runs his Hot Tub Hot Takes segment, which he claims is the sexiest segment in the IWAR at the moment. I mean, he's got Smooth Operator by Sade playing him in. It takes place in a hot tub. He's got Riley Reynolds of the IWL with him. And they basically do a rundown of the NWL title page. Typically, they talk smack about the people they don't like, and then they kind of heap praise on guys that they're kind of friends with. So I think the segment might be a little bit biased, but I personally enjoyed it, and I think it's a bit of an original take on the TT idea.
Yeah.
Then we've got California Gunslinger. He's had a great run in the NWL. Things I think have been sorted out with his brother Shotgun Kid. And then their sister Area Gunpowder is releasing a new horror movie soon, which is a bit of a departure from the Western movies they usually do. So keep an eye out for Area Gunpowder's Nightfall horror movie coming out soon. And then we've got the Industry, and this particular TT ties in the Industry as joining the SOS faction as well. So it's at the end of the NWL TV title match between Stevie Vertigo and Rod Camino. And there's also been kind of a feud happening between Samoan Death Grip and the Industry as well. So they're the six of them are kind of getting into it, but then out of nowhere, Requiem, Mike Dynasty, and Prophet come down, and they get involved, and they all just beat the living hell out of the Syndicate, thus solidifying the Industry as having joined the SOS faction. So I'm a little bit nervous about what that means for the NWL. I mean, Johnny B's metal has already been tested a little bit so far. You know, that guys are kind of poking the bear a little bit already.
Oh, fancy!
But now with SOS coming into the fold, I mean, is it possible that Johnny B is going to have to, take on a bit more of an iron fist kind of approach here in the NWL? I mean, you'd hate to see these guys running roughshod over the whole roster just like that, right? And yeah, I think that about covers it for the NWL number 177.
All right, guys. I dig that. So, Matt, what do you got for us in the BRL?
Well, a lot going on in the BRL, and yeah, I wanted to say again, congratulations to IWL for overtaking BRL in activity. I hope to see the folks that were inactive come back soon, and I know we have more folks coming in soon. Gene Coast arrived. Two different players have reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to come back. Who should I feud with?" And I'll say this: I don't like to tell people who to feud with. I will make suggestions based off of what if you say like, "Oh, I'm coming in with good guys. I'm coming in with bad guys. Who should I go after?" And we have plenty of players available to do that. So I'm happy to do that. So feel free to ask. And, I actually encourage you to go after multiple targets because things can happen where a player, will leave the game or, leave the league or whatever. And that way, if you have multiple targets, you have multiple things to go forward with. So BRL-wise, we just had Battlecade. We reviewed Battlecade results on the last show. All of which to say, I'm curious to see what Double R Rob Ratliff's going to do now that he got the North American Championship shot. Didn't go his way. And he's going to probably, investing in guitars to break more guitars over people's heads. So what's coming up next? Well, next up we have the main event pay-per-view. And I'm going to actually refine that a bit between now and the next issue. Just kind of make it easier to read, mostly because I won't leave the logo right in the middle of the page. But it's funny too because if I look at the actual original copy, it's not like that at all. So I'm like, I don't know, I must have just hit that, snagged it, and dragged it, and then left it in my save the page. Whoops, but didn't save that page apparently. So it goes main event, and in the main event, the various matches will determine the next person challenged for the various BRL championships. So we'll have that, and I'm going to add some more matches. Some players have asked for individual matchups. So we're going to use the main event, again, in between the pay-per-views as a way of determining who gets to challenge the championships next. And they're all elimination matches or best ladder match, whatever, as a way to get people involved and then have a winner that deserves it. And then you have a chance to talk it up. So our trash talk opens up with legendary hooligan Jax McAllister. And I will tell you this, I've seen his promo. It's coming up next. Now that he got burned by Too Hot Frankie Scott, he's kind of a bitter man, and he's got some problems. So he's going to take that out on Frankie Scott if he can. And he might have a new look. So that's possibly in the works. He also has a problem with double IWAR Ratliff, who keeps breaking guitars over his head. It's tough life. We have a What They Are Saying segment in the BRL, which is also known as How I'm Going to Do Promos for All My Guys on One Page. And that's pretty much what it was. These actually, I always like this. This is a throwback to the old like Inside Wrestling magazines or PWI, where they'd have a page of like, I'm going to attack so and so, and I'm going to do this, and it's just a way to get a message out quick, So I like to do that quick. So hopefully this will help stir the pot while I regroup. We have the Suburban Hill Savages who are eating dinner, and as they're eating dinner, Punk Rock Mike is eating a big steak, and Agent 26 and Punk and Patrick O'Malley are kind of bummed because they lost their belts at Battlecade, and he kind of rallies the troops to refocus, and then he makes a challenge to LePage Turner, his longtime enemy, and I'll just read this and see. He says, basically saying that he's not keeping him away from challenging. Don't set things up. I'll make it a cage match. He's offering a championship match, but it's a cage match. Oh no! What happened?
Laughing gas.
Oh no!
Look at the chat.
Who should I attack? Jobbers.
Look underneath that.
I don't see anything.
You will.
I refresh my page. I have nothing there. There's nothing there. I don't know what to say.
Man, I dig that.
There's only one thing to say.
Is it? What does it say?
All right, Matt. Look.
The last thing I see is then there is me. I am coming in with jobbers. Who should I attack?
All right, so look down. You see the logo for Retro Wrestling Games, right?
Oh, jeez. What is that?
That's the new official I Dig That logo. We're gonna put that on our T-shirts.
Is that you?
No, that is the kid from Small Wonders. Fuck that robot. 1,000%.
Oh my god. Oh.
I don't dig that.
She was the first real doll. I'm just saying it, throwing it out there. She was the first real doll. You can't tell me different. I thought.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
Oh man! Wow. All right. Well, that's all right. I can just throw it back on here. So, Paul Rock Mike challenges Turner to a steel cage match where none of the friends will be at ringside. So we'll see if we work that into the main event somehow, and see if we can get that matchup somehow in the works. Then we have the Ace Ladder to Greatness promo where they call out Gene Co. and kind of take a beef. Gene Co., you're going to see in a couple pages, has a huge promo where they call them out, and they called them out in the EWL. And they're like, dude, we were there for you like 2 months. What's going on? Why is so much hate? But it's easy to hate Seth Adams Lee. Just is. And Wisp. And Agent 26, he wants a match at the main event. So we'll see what happens. Next up, we get the debut of the Samoan Death Grip. And they come in here. Aaron, do you want to talk about the Samoan Death Grip and Steve Vertigo?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, Samoan Death Grip, they kind of had a strong run, I guess, in 2021 overall. At one point, Stevie Vertigo, I mean, they were the hired guns of Stevie Vertigo. Stevie Vertigo sent them back to the island of Apalima, which is an isle of Samoa. They had to get their heads straight, and they came back even stronger. I think they're in the running for an NWL Tag Team of the Year, possibly IWAR Tag Team of the Year, which is pretty cool for an NWL team to try and take it around.
Spoiler alert.
if everything shakes down the way it looks like it might, I mean, either way is a strong finish by a good tag team. So I mean, Samoa and Death Grip, their most recent promos have been taking place on this little island that they're from called Apple Lima, and they're basically saying that they're coming back stronger than a tidal wave in the Pacific Ocean. And then towards the end, their new manager, the Teamster, reveals himself as the new manager of Samoan Death Grip, which I think is going to be a pretty exciting thing moving forward, considering the Teamster and new BRL commissioner, Dick Jackson, just kind of got finished going to war over who would control the NWL. And I think this might be a way for the Teamster to kind of like, have a voice in the BRL, but do it in maybe, an underhanded way, which, I mean, I'm not accusing the Teamster of being underhanded, but I mean,
yeah, he is.
Things can go south pretty quick with the Teamster, I think, but he's got this big tag team, and they're going to try to make a name for themselves in the BRL. They're calling out the White Claw Outlaws, I think, and they're basically going to go for the gold in the BRL. So we'll have to see how that shakes down. Stevie Vertigo, he last was the NWL League champion last cycle, so he was going to arrive in the BRL, but he had one more cycle to defend the league championship. So he's basically holding that over the BRL, kind of saying, I'll show up when I want to. He holds a press conference at the Willowick, Ohio Hilton, where he's announcing his new sports betting outlet, Studs and Duds. He's going to set up, an outlet for that sports betting at the Willowick Hilton. He's also announcing the release of his new alcoholic beverage, Spinning Room Vodka, who he's hired Odell Beckham Jr. to be a spokesperson for. So at this press conference, he has Odell Beckham come out. He takes a couple digs at the Browns while he's at it. He says that he tried to convince Stevie not to set up shop in Ohio, but the people of Ohio love Stevie Vertigo, so he couldn't really dissuade him. He goes on for the rest of the news conference, pretty much just talking smack about everyone in the NWL and the BRL. Whether it's Flashy Jack, Punk Rock Mike, Money Driven Mike Sebastian, or the White Claw Outlaws, Stevie's kind of coming in. He's going to try to make a name for himself. Towards the end of the press conference, Mad Dog comes out. He's heard enough of Stevie kind of slamming the BRL roster. So he tells Stevie to pipe down. Stevie doesn't take this too well. He throws a glass of his vodka in Mad Dog's face. A fracas erupts, and we kind of go off the air with Stevie and Mad Dog, taking shots at each other.
There it is.
There it is.
All right, so other BRL promos. Now that we've added Stevie Vertigo to the mix and the Samoan Death Grip, we have an interview by Dapper Dandy trying to interview the IWAR World Champion, the newly crowned IWAR World Champion, Sabretooth, along with Holy Family. And they kind of steal the mic from Dan and kind of just say, listen, we'll take care of this. And he talks about, not being denied and, shaking things up, having the most prestigious title in the game, laying out challenges, very willing to defend the title. And, that he worked for it and won it himself. There was no help, no numbers, just one-on-one. And, congrats again to Sabretooth for just taking down Joe Boring. Then we have a great one-page promo ad from Gene Co., kind of introducing each of the members, which I really like this format because it kind of, helps people who are, like, oh, who is this? That's really his stable. Here's the group, kind of what they're known for, finishing moves. Zydrate being a biker chain champion. Nivek Largo was this close. I actually had to redo the scoring. I was checking my numbers. And I realized that Master Destroyer had one less, I think it was TV title win than I thought, or something like that. And so it was like he actually had 190. So Nivek Largo had 180. So he was that close to winning. but didn't come through. Sorry.
Yeah, I wonder if we're all secretly pulling for someone to topple Master Destroyer, because he had a dominant 2021, but we didn't see too much in the TT department for Master Destroyer. So
no, it's true, and we've been behind the scenes here. We're actually working on the year-end awards, and we're kind of wrapping things up. And again, I always tell people all the time, it's tough when a player who doesn't promo wins something, because you're like, and they won some belts, and that's it. So, I will say, if there was a tie score, it'll go to the promoing person, because that's what our game's about. But I will tell you that in the BRL, the Wrestler of the Year came down to a super tiebreaker, like not just tiebreaker, but a super tiebreaker. And, I'll reveal who that winner is at our next show. But let me just, my screen's doing something funky here. Go away. I love this computer. It's like, I think it's an Acer or some shit like that. And it pops up these random, like, here's some information news. Check this out. Like, I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. Go away. It's stupid. All right. So we get Gene Co coming out and cutting promo on Ace, which is Seth Adams Lee, and talking about they want to do a Ladder to Greatness match with a biker chain on the pole. And they're setting that up. So that's probably going to be a main event match between Zydrate or Nivik Largo, or maybe a tag match between the two of them and Ace. So watch for that to happen. We have some bunch of promos from we have Double R Rob Ratliff, who I think he beans like 7 different people in this issue with his guitar. He's just not a nice guy. It's just like, it was almost to the point where, remember when Canyon was giving everyone the diamond cutter?
Yes. It's one of my favorite things ever, by the way.
I kind of had visions of that. So that was, if you haven't watched it, after the show, go on YouTube and look up Canyon delivering cutters. And it's a montage. It was really well done. And they don't do enough of that, where it's just like, I remember they did one time with, was it Shawn Michaels super kicking everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also kind of similar. But we get the IWAR Women's World Champion, or ex-World Champion, Wildfire Betty Red, cutting a promo. Talking about defending the belt. And, of course, she lost to Veruca Salt, who won the Ladies' Night Lethal Lottery. Silver Fox wants to have a belt. Silver Fox got in the Cruiserweight match and lost. So Silver Fox, maybe in the future. Jane Red and Matthew Van Slaughter talking about their tag shot. Chief Bill Gray Fox makes the argument that because their 6-man team of himself, Chief Bull Gray Fox, the Saskatchewan Sasquatch, and Zombie Hunter Matthew Porter, that they should be the new IWAR World 6-Man champions. And I was thinking about this, and I think I agree. Because I was thinking about, we've had this belt vacated since our champions left the IWAR network. Not only did this team win the Triple D Cup 6-Man tournament, they also are going to the BRL 6-Man Team of the Year with a fantastic year, like a really good run. So I think it's appropriate that we just, award them the belts for winning the event, and then we'll have the winners of the Lethal Lottery trifecta challenge them for the belts, and we'll leave it at that. I think that makes a nice, easy, clean cut there. So, spoiler alert announcement, we'll be bringing more news about that in the future, but we have our next promo from R.A. Rude, who returned. He's back in action, and if you watched at the Battlecade, you saw he pulled the Terry Funk and destroyed Adam Cash, who tried to play nice and be like, man, you're old. So that didn't work out well. We get a Happy New Year from Quick Kill Incorporated, Assassin Beast Devasto. So he's still beefing. So I don't know who he's going to go after next. He's going to stay on Cash, or he's going to go after somebody new. We get some promos from, again, Double R, Rob Ratliff, just bashing people with guitars. He must keep them in, like, he's like a guitar industry guy who's like, this guitar was handcrafted by the finest craftsman. Is it okay? It's $1,000. Sure. Buys it, smashes it. Whatever, it's fine. We have more promos. Well, this one's where Sabretooth gets a guitar smashed over his head. And then we have a Merry Christmas message where Joey Saltamboca and Gina Colada get guitars broken over their heads.
Jeez Louise. And
it's a Christmas party. It goes berserk. So there's that. So they also do a thing where he locks Gina and Joey in a room with a skunk and a stink bomb.
That's fair. And a stink
Yeah.
bomb?
And a stink bomb.
Unbelievable.
3 stink bombs, actually. So we get a promo where the Thugs for Hire revealed they were paid off to abandon Monster Truck Tanaka at Battlecade against the White Claw Outlaws and Jim Neidhart. So they got paid off. So who paid them off to abandon him? That's what we want to know. Hawaiian Heartthrob talks about the end of his feud with Mechanico. Flashy Jack Ferdinand has a nice little promo talking about, his various things, how he, won this tournament. He is having another rematch with Alexander J. Styles because they keep having ties. Seriously, why don't you just win it, He calls out the Olympians, talking about how he's going to beat them because they're old, slow, and stupid. So
It's fair.
interesting, we get the Carnival Profits with Carnage Dodge, Jello Duckins. Jello Duckins, my least favorite name right now, and it sounds like the Ashford High School. She gave me a Jello Duckins behind the school. I think Scott walked out on me getting a Jello Duckins once when we were living together.
It's true.
What was I? Oh yeah, so Jello. So they talk about their plans, and again, there's no, I'm saying it wrong. Nosaya or Nosia. I'm not sure. Anyways, another broad in makeup. Yeesh. So we're gonna have them in some of the events coming up. We get the I Kick You and Yui Aiken or Yua Aiken. Yeah.
No, you are Aiken.
Them too. They talk about Zeus and Hercules robbing them of the belts. They want championship. I remember these guys from the UNL. I'm pretty sure they were in the UNL. Or was it CWL? I think it was CWL maybe. Anyways, we get a message from the Olympians, and they're talking about Flashy Jack and being the Olympians, being the global six-man champions. Summer Nights, those three talk about their plans and how now that Sherry is going to be the valet of sorts, Sherry Summers for Flashy Jack, which makes sense. They're both kind of like, vain. And then we get a thing where during the match between Flashy Jack Ferdinand and Punk Rock Mike, that the way the promo works out is that Flashy Jack, his title match gets stolen from him because Alexander J. Styles comes out from the IWL and shows up and causes a distraction and then tells him he's phenomenal. He'll be IWAR Revolution champion. So former partners from the Lethal Lottery tag tournament, having beefs. So there it is. So that's the BRL promos. And again, as always, if you want to have a feud or enter the league, give me a holler. Let me know. And for those guys coming on in, we're looking forward to seeing you work in the BRL. There it is.
Yeah, man.
Say the line.
Say the fucking line.
I dig that. All right, fantastic. Matt, do you got anything IWAR wide?
Oh man, I would say what's going on? The awards are coming out next, so I'm reaching out to some people to help with those. Looking forward to that. We've got up right now a little preview for you guys. In the current issue of the IWAR magazine, there is a list of the spring events, like all the events for the year. But the spring events are the Johnny B. Cup, the Murano, and the Trifecta Lethal Lottery tournament for the six-man championship. So, six-man title, six-man win, whatever. Anyways, what's going to happen? Because somebody said, well, what if you have 24 spots? What if you get 28 people? The first 24 names are the names drawn for the teams. So it'll be randomly drawn teams. And again, we base the scoring off individual scores added up as a trio. So you don't have to worry about flowing or any of that until you get to the title shot match down the line. Yeah, so that's.
Are you going to draw those names live again, do you think?
I think we should, right, Scott? Scott says yes.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, I would ask you to start. I will post a sign up thread on the Facebook page, and I'll start tracking those. But yeah, if you want to get involved, remember it's just one name per person. The Johnny B Cup, I've opened it to 4 entries. The same thing with the Murano because it's basically just IWAR versus BRL. So we want to get everyone involved and have a real good show.
And Scott, what was that again?
I was asking your thoughts on the Lethal Lottery trifecta and how.
Yeah. And what were my thoughts?
Well, the sleeping, I believe. But don't sleep on the trifecta.
Do not sleep on the trap. Yes. Yes. All right, guys. Was there any questions in the chat? While I still have you guys up.
I'm going to bed.
You're going to bed.
Me too.
Triple D Cup. Billy Travis with the guitar. Big fan of Billy Travis, by the way. Anyone else a big fan of Billy Travis? I love Billy Travis.
Very underrated.
Very, very underrated.
Who?
Billy Travis.
Much better when he turned heel.
Of course. Like most people, though.
Brian Adias?
Not Brian Adias.
Who was better when they turned face? Anyone?
Who was better
The
when
Young
they
Bucks.
turned?
No, I'm just kidding.
When they turned face
Uh,
after being a heel.
Ooh. Sting.
Okay. That's true. That's true. I mean, hey.
I pulled that one out my ass. That's for
He
sure.
was a heel.
Sting.
Randy Savage kind of turned face again after he got Elizabeth back. I'm not sure if he was better as a face, but I mean he had a pretty good run after that point.
You maybe look at Brett, maybe from Heel Heart Foundation to
Right.
Heart Foundation, maybe.
Could do the same with Braun Breaker Senior.
Yes. Good old the Breaker family.
Yes.
They did a Frankenbreaker. What a bunch of dorks.
I would suggest that WWE will eventually change his name to Ball Breaker, and he'll have a gimmick where he's a doctor that gives vasectomies.
No, eventually he's just going to be Breaker.
Yeah.
Like that's going to happen.
He's gonna break dance.
He might Jules Strongbow.
Do you think Vince likes to wait until they announce the releases and everything just calls Triple H, how you doing today? How you feeling?
Hey pal. Hey pal, how you doing today? Oh. I don't think he's purposely fucking with Triple H.
It's all business decisions, right? At this point.
don't think he's even I don't think he even cares. It's like he just doesn't care. It's like that's Vince. I think Vince's vision of professional wrestling is a certain way. He's never going to change it. It is what it is. He'll give you little pet projects. It almost felt like he was just trying to get Triple H out of the way for a little while. It's like, you're bothering me. Harley Race, get out of here. And kind of just, get him out of the picture for a little bit. It's like, go do something with NXT. But I think I told you guys in the chat, I don't think NXT made any money. That's what it comes down to. I think they were positioned as a loss leader. Like we're gonna train guys and we'll do a little show here and they give them experience, and that's all it was going to be. But they didn't make any money. They don't tour. A lot of contracts on there. Like, was their TV deal enough? Well, you can just have repeats of primetime and probably do the same amount of ratings on it. So it's like they're paying all this money to these guys, and there's no return on that investment. So I think that's the more logical answer to why things are going the way it is versus Oh, Vince hates Triple H now.
Mm.
It's like he's the father of his grandkids. I think he cares.
Yeah.
So I think that's how that's going to go. All
Notice
right.
said when he looks at Stephanie and says, "Do you have to bring him too?"
Nice.
Leon heard that Del Rio was on his way back.
Ooh.
I've heard. First of all, I've seen Del Rio in person. He's better looking in person. So is Paige, by the way. That was the whole thing. When I was filming that at the camera. But I don't think he's coming back. I think he has severe mental problems.
Yeah.
Like dude needs help. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. If he gets his life back together and what have you, and because he was a good worker. I mean, his MMA career, he's the only person that fought in mixed martial arts that wore a mask. That was weird, but that was the thing. So, he's wrestling royalty. Technically, I guess you can consider him wrestling royalty. Was second or third generation wrestler. So he's pretty prominent in his family. So I don't know. He's a dirtbag, that's for sure. I think that goes without saying, though. But he is. All right, guys. So we are officially out of time. So for Matt, for Scott, for Aaron, I'm Alex G.
For Sleepy.
Have a good night.
Good night.